Cody was woken by her fellow prison inmates very early in the morning. It was not just her birthday, but also her release day. She had successfully served her 5 years prison term. Her colleagues were celebrating on her behalf. It was supposed to be a joyous occasion, but Cody was having mixed feelings about this day. For the past 5 years in the prison, her mother had not visited her even once, despite sending numerous messages. She got up and they all hugged her amidst tears of joy. She then proceeded to the head warden's office, where she was given an exit card. With no money on her, Cody decided to trek home. It took Cody 2 days to get to her village. While walking to her house, many fingers pointed at her, but she was more concerned with seeing her mother and her daughter. Ify, Cody's daughter, was barely 6 months old when she was jailed. Cody looked very skinny, tattered, and rejected. Many people mistook her for a mad woman. The moment she saw her mother and daughter eating in their kitchen, she burst into tears. Her mother could barely recognize her. She hurriedly hugged her mother and her daughter. Her mother offered her food. In the night, Cody knelt and apologized to her mother. She promised that she had learned her lessons while in the prison. As for why she was jailed, Cody was a 200-level student of the University of Dean. She was a brilliant young lady until she decided to upgrade her lifestyle. Cody stopped her mother from visiting her in the school because she felt her mother was not posh. This lifestyle began when she started hanging out with some irresponsible ladies. She was introduced to prostitution, popularly known as hookup. Initially, she was reluctant, but after seeing how much money her friends made daily from hookups, she decided to upgrade her lifestyle. Cody began to skip lectures and other school activities. She was warned by some of her responsible colleagues, but she wouldn't listen. She began to party, club, and go on non-school vacations. Most of her clients were old married men, fraudsters, and drug dealers. She believed that this set of people could afford her bills and her worth. Many times, her mother visited her. She would tell her mother to stop visiting. Because Cody was her only child, she continued and was praying that she would change. One day, Ego, Cody's mother, decided to send some foodstuffs to Cody. Unfortunately, she encountered the worst nightmare of her life. Initially, Cody ignored her at first sight. When Ego called Cody's attention, she responded like a stranger. "Yes, how can I help you?" Cody questioned. Ego was surprised at the question. She slapped Cody to call her to order. Cody pushed her aside and warned her never to visit again because she didn't know her. Ego was broken. She had never imagined that her only child would deny her. Following the incident, Ego became depressed. Cody knew that she had hurt her mother, but she wanted to end their mother and child relationship because Ego looked like an embarrassment to her. One day, Cody noticed that she was pregnant for Oji, one of her classmates from a rich family. She was happy because she thought she had caught a big fish. Oji accepted the pregnancy, but his family was against their marriage because of Cody's family background. At this moment, Cody hated her mother even more for marrying into a poor family, but was not ready to give up on Oji. Oji assured her that his family would accept her in due time. However, she was not getting the money she expected from Oji, as his family had abandoned them. Oji was passing through hell to provide for herself and him while they were in school. Cody began to detest Oji because things were not going as she planned. But it was already late because she was almost 8 months pregnant. One day, Cody ran into Obum, one of her regular clients. Obum was a popular fraudster. He was surprised to see Cody looking unkempt and ugly. He promised to help Cody financially only if Cody would sleep with him, even with her pregnancy. It was not a big deal because Cody could do anything for money. Cody accepted without thinking twice. She followed Obum to his house. Obum begged Cody to sleep over and she accepted immediately. Unfortunately, Obum's house was invaded by EFCC and police the next day. It turned out that Obum was involved in a murder case and he was arrested for murdering one of his colleagues. However, Cody was not left behind. She was also arrested as an accomplice. Despite all her pleas, she was taken by the police to prove her innocence. Oji couldn't sleep the previous night because he waited for Cody to return. He called her severally, but she could not be reached. The next day, Oji went to the police to report his missing girlfriend. He was shocked to hear that Cody was arrested along with Obum. He was heartbroken. In order to prove her innocence, Cody told the police that she was married to Oji. When Oji was called to testify on her behalf, Oji denied knowing her out of anger. Everything turned against her. She felt it was a nightmare. She pleaded with the police to let her give birth outside the cell, but her request was denied. All her friends deserted her because nobody wants to be involved in a murder case. In her desperation, Cody remembered she had a mother and sent for her, but her mother ignored her. Cody and Obum were tried in the court. Obum was sentenced to life imprisonment, while Cody was given a 5-year jail term, which will begin after she gave birth. Cody remained in the police cell until she gave birth to a baby girl. Out of mercy, Ego accepted to take care of Cody's baby. While in the prison, Cody reflected on her past life and regretted her decisions. She wished she could turn back time, especially when she remembered that her classmates had graduated. In the prison, she used her experience to counsel and advise other inmates. She promised to turn to a good life and make amends with her mother, whom she had hurt deeply. After her release, her mother forgave and accepted her, and Cody joined her mother in her food business. She took great care to raise her daughter to avoid making the same mistake she had made. As a result, Ego was happy again because she now had a united family. Despite Cody's past mistakes, she realized that they had ultimately led to a blessing in disguise. One day, Cody was washing clothes in front of their house when a car pulled into their compound. She was surprised to see Oji, as she knew she had hurt him deeply. Oji got out of the car and shook hands with Cody, who was relieved to see that he bore no grudges against her. Oji explained that he had come to see her daughter Ify. However, Oji was no longer interested in marrying Cody. Instead, he was drawn to her daughter Ify. At one point, Oji demanded the custody of the baby, but Cody refused, as she was not willing to give up her only child. Despite Oji's persistent persuasions, Cody stood firm, stating that she would rather go back to prison than let anyone take her child. Oji's family even threatened her, but she was not to waver. One afternoon, Cody went to pick up Ify from school, only to be told that her father had already taken her. This news left Cody feeling lost, and she tried to contact Oji, but he had already blocked her. She then decided to travel to the city where Oji's family lived, only to discover that they had moved to the US. It was then revealed to her that Audrey had taken her daughter out of the country. Cody realized that it was going to be nearly impossible to get her daughter back. If you were in Cody's shoes, what would you do? Let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.